Okay. Hi, Justin again. Um, First of all, let me say congratulations on being shortlisted for Afritondo Short Story Prize.
Thank you.
Um, was it a surprise to you? Did it come as a surprise by any means?
Um, well, sort of in that kind of way. When like I hope the entry, I hope it did well. I hope it would do well. So seeing that, okay, it is doing well. It's like that partial thing where like, okay, so it did do well, and the part where it's the basic, like, okay, it's meant to do well. So 50-50, I guess. I was like partly like, okay, I was happy to see it, like really happy to see it, but I was like,
Okay,
oh,
okay. So how much faith did you have in this story? Because I know there are times when we finish working on a story and we are sort of sure that this story is good. And there are other times when you finish working on a story and you feel like this isn't, I don't know how I feel
yeah.
about this story. So how much faith did you have in this story?
Let's see. I would say, okay, of getting to the short list, I don't know, but of maybe making the long list, I had it was one of those stories that I read, and I was like, okay, this is good enough to mean something. So 80%,
Okay.
like 80. Let's just say 80.
How often do you write stories?
Ah, wow, that is one. It's this very troublesome relationship where um I have these things I want to write, but I'm not as chanced to write them. So I could only have, so in a calendar year I could only have like maybe 3 to 4 stories that I've written, and I'm like, okay, yes, these are like standard stories that I really like, and I can send out and see how it does. Maybe like just four, maybe just like for a year. I do not write often, but I love writing in the sense that I want to do it and I make out plans to do it, but somehow the doing it becomes the problem. So I don't know, but yeah.
I think that's fine, really. I don't think you should beat yourself up. And I think I'm saying this because I write, but I also don't write as often as I'd like to write. So I understand when you say that you're not able to produce as much work as you would like. And I don't think you should beat yourself up for that. Yeah.
Uh, Really, it's weird because my friends that are writers too. I was speaking with a friend sometime, and there was something he said, and he was like he had 52 rejections like one particular month, and I was looking at him like
A
I did not
lot,
even send out up
52.
to, yes, rejections alone minus the other things you've sent out, and I was just looking at him like I do not even send out up to 12 stuffs entire like
Yeah.
in total a year, and wow, like a month. It's I don't know. Sometimes writing is scary. Sometimes it's
But is
beautiful.
writing something you're considering like doing full time? Is this something you are um yeah, you think you would devote your entire life to?
In many aspects, yes, I actually think so. It's what I want to do. It's what I love doing. Like storytelling through various mediums. Writing is one of them. So yes, I think be- better put, I would devote my life to storytelling. The writing maybe there may be some time I may stop, but I think I would always want to continue telling stories in one art through one art medium or the other. So, but for now, yes, as far as I can see till the nearest future, I'm going to be writing for quite a while.
Okay. Now let's talk about your story, which I loved so much. I don't read,
Really?
I don't read a lot of speculative fiction, but and I don't write speculative fiction at all. But then I found myself like really liking your story. In fact, I made I made a huge
Ah,
case for that story when like in the
I
panel of
oh
readers, I was like, this story is really, really good. And
wow. Yeah.
um I think what I love the most about it is, I mean, yes, it's speculative, but like it's also very relatable. Like it deals with themes that, we can identify, anyone can identify with: memory, belonging, and there are very human stories there as well. So I think that's why I liked the story. What what was the
Wow.
inspiration for it? And I'd like to hear you
Um.
talk about the
Oh.
process of writing it.
Okay. Okay. So the story started out as an idea, basically. Like I had the story idea before I saw the Afritondo call out. So it was one of those things that I just keep, and it, I don't know, ferments in, it just ferments in the head and just adds different stuff and becomes like new things. It begins to form. It gets more tangible in ways. And when, so I had the story basically down to everything. The I knew what it would be about. I knew how it was going to go. But when I saw the Afritondo call out and the theme of identity, that part of me was like, aha, that story now would be a very good time for it to come out and work. So yeah, it was, so that was how it came about, like the whole, like the forming of the story, or like the bringing it to life. So I had, like, I knew what was happening. I had the phenomenon that was happening. I wanted there to be that, because it was formed like that, like in the head, the memory transfer and the immortality.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it started out as science fiction. I was thinking of just a normal, regular serum that could alter human DNA, and then so doing that, alter the entire genetic makeup, and then we get the new evolved human. But later along the line, I added that God
People who like to
element,
walk,
like,
or who just walk throughout their lives.
yes, it was, that part was put as a, when we use or toy with things that we do not fully understand. I wanted to exemplify that there, and I also wanted to, that makes that, what, when does science become magic? Because a lot of the things that we have now that science has done was at some point in the past called many different things. So there are still things that science has said like exist out there, and all that the numbers and the properties just defy n- normal logical reasoning. So I wanted there to be some of that, which was why the walking, something that now is beyond human comprehension, that science cannot quite explain why this is happening. So that is the magical element, the other part, the compulsion to just walk. That's where it's coming from. That thing, the introducing a new gene into human DNA and then getting everything we want. But so that is a good thing. So I was looking for a balancing negative thing, like a balancing something to just counter everything and make it
Mm-hmm.
complete. And yes, so it's, I don't know, it just, yeah, that was how it just, everything was just falling into place like little by little, as if the story had the blueprint already and was like, just follow this thing first. And yeah, I did that. So, and writing speculative fiction is something that I like doing because it's it's this kind of thing where it has the potential for boundlessness. Like you can literally do anything with
Mm-hmm.
speculative fiction, and that is the good thing. And in ways, it is also kind of the a bad thing, because it is easy to trail off and just become lost in the whole possibility of creating. So it's left for you to set your own boundaries. It can still be, it's kind of like, I think of it kind of like a sphere. A sphere is boundless, but it is finite. It has that definition. So
Mm-hmm.
speculative fiction too can work in the same way. It's not to just make it as outlandish as inhumanly possible, or because people read and understand what they can relate to, and even if if you're writing, for instance, something about maybe a ghost came to town and walked around the road naked and something like that, and it actually happened. Let's say it actually happened, but if people can't relate to that thing, the story, true as it may seem, would sound very, very implausible and nothing. It applies to speculative fiction too. If you cannot relate to it, it would seem too outlandish for normal thinking. There is how far people are willing to suspend their belief. So the more they can relate to that thing, the easier it is to suspend their belief in the regular stuff and just follow this new pattern that you introduced. So I wanted to make human cities as human as possible, and the title also, to me, the title was also really important somehow,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that I like the title. I like the title before I finished the story. I just had it in my mind. Like, this would be a really good title. That would be a cool title for this story. So I just had it, and as the story unfolded, I don't know, it just kind of clicked. I was seeing more reasons why it should be called Human
Human
City.
cities.
And yeah, and it kind of fell with the whole identity thing. Everything should have a name, a good name, a fitting name, or an identifying name, a name that can, yes, portray it. So I think, yeah, that was basically relatable. I just wanted a human story, still told in a speculative way, so that, I don't know, maybe it was my attempt to show that um, speculative fiction can be more. It's not just something for mild fancy, or
Yeah.
it could actually, I feel it could bring new angles to situations that we cannot really, like, we can't really cover, or will I say broach. It's a new perspective. You can do the old things in new ways, or you can see from new angles in this way. It's that possibility. Now you're adding the possibility of the unreal to tell realistic stories, to make us understand reality through, by utilizing the flexibility of the speculative nature. So yeah, I just wanted to do that with the story. Like, have a good speculative story that is human, that is true, that is what is that word? I don't know, just basically true, I guess. Just a true human story, like, told from the perspective of, yes, an actual human being, and not some flat magical character or
Mm-hmm.
something. Yeah. So
So
that
how
was
how
basically.
how long did it take you to work on it?
Um. Okay. Well, the idea, like I said, the idea had been in my head for a while. About I think I've had the idea for about 4 or 5 months, but it didn't come out until, I think more or less 2 weeks before the deadline. More or less 2 weeks before the deadline. Like, I was just, or I tell myself that I was building the story in my head,
Mm-hmm.
but I was just procrastinating basically. But when it was time, I just started writing out the things for, like, I wrote out the confrontations first. I wrote them out first so that at least I could have a tangible spine,
Yeah.
and then I wrote everything else, like, around it. So once I had that, okay, this is the direction I wanted to go. So everything came in first. All the memories came in first, and it was easy to weave and to connect and to just link them all together. So I wanted a balanced mix of good, because it's human beings that we're dealing with, and there is a lot that makes up, humans are made up of a lot of different things. So I wanted I wanted something light. I wanted something funny. I wanted like a funny memory or slightly funny, a a true memory of regret. So I just wanted to explore spectrums of like human different spectrums of what it means to be a human being, the things that we have gone through, the things that make us, and memories are an important part of that because
Mm-hmm.
the memories we have are the things that we have experienced, and which is basically what life is all about. Life is experience. You feel, you anyhow you react, you're aware of these things, and memories are things that have happened to us around us. The memories we have are things that have happened to us around us, and in some way all these things have built us, and in a little way they've added to what we are. It takes a single event to change your mindset completely. It takes some things, a lot of things happen, and every single person has something, has a story. Every single person is made from something and of something. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, I wanted to show how diverse these things could be and how important to these things are these people, to these people.
Okay. So I have one more technical question and then maybe two other final questions. The technical, one of the technical question is, how many drafts did you write? Because I'm guessing that writers who will see your interview or who would read your interview want to know what the process was like. So how many drafts
Okay.
did you write for this story?
Okay.
And
I
yeah,
wrote. I remember writing the first draft. That is the only draft I'm sure of writing because the others were coming in pieces. The first draft is the memories written down,
mm-hmm,
and then I just kept on working from there. I work on this part and leave it. Work on this part and leave it. But I would make sure that in some way the thing is growing. So there wasn't a time where I finished one and said this is one draft, apart from
okay,
that very first draft.
okay,
So when I got the first draft, I just kept working on it until I had the final piece I sent to Afritondo. But that could, in ways, maybe be a no. Okay. That could be a second, thirdish draft, I guess. But that was basically, but that was basically how it went. That was basically how it went. The first draft is the one I'm sure of. Then, yes, I may have had another draft like thing after that, but
I know how
basically
that
it.
thing works.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, how did you hear about Afritondo?
I heard about Afritondo actually last year. I think it was on. I think it was on. I can't remember. I can't remember. I honestly cannot remember the. I saw it online on a website, a literary website.
Okay,
I'm just mixed up about the particular, but I saw it on one of them, either either Brittle Paper or Creative Writing News. I'm really not
okay,
sure. I can't remember which one, but one of them. And I applied for last year's zone. I applied for last year's zone. Even I even and I got in. Last year's zone was really funny because I missed the deadline here in Nigeria. So I sent the story to a friend in Ghana and told him to send it from his email since their time is like an hour behind. Yeah, I actually did that, but needless to say, the story didn't make the long
make
list.
it
It,
true.
it, it didn't
Yeah.
make the long list. So this year, this year, and that one was love, and that one was love. The theme of that one was
Yeah,
love,
the
and
theme last year was love.
okay, love. This identity piece, I don't know. I may not have sent something in, but when I saw the theme was identity, human stories just like clicked, like it was
Hmm.
knocking, like use me. Yeah. So that was so that was how it came about.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I have. I don't have anything else. Do you want to say
Okay.
something else? Is there something else you'd like to say?
Mm,
And by the way,
Uh,
I like the background. Where did you go for this call?
okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
love it. It's very serene and quiet.
oh, thanks. Well, currently I'm in school, like I'm in my school premises, like the campus now. So this is one of those places that I usually come to for like a peace of mind, serenity, and I have a couple of friends at my apartment, like five of them. So I was just like, oh no, 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 I'm not doing this
I
here.
can't do this here.
So yeah. So I just came into school, relaxed, and yeah, it's a cool evening.
Okay. All right. All right, Justin. It was
Mm.
good talking with you. Is there something else you'd like to say?
Um, yes, writing hard, writing just hard, writing is hard. Uh, that is basically that should sum up like everything I just want to say. It's
Yeah,
hard, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
yeah. All right. It was good chatting with you. Have a great
It
time. And
was.
thank you so much for giving me the time. Yeah.
Oh, please, the pleasure is mine. And thank you for liking my story. I still cannot believe it though, but thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Bye.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.